So what's up, YouTube? All right, this is William Bronson. I'm going to talk about the Walther CCP M2. Now, the Walther CCP M2 stands for the second generation of it. The first one required a tool to take it apart and clean it and things like that. So the version 2 does not require a tool, and I really love it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. This is something that my son and I went to Cabela's, and we were looking for a concealed carry gun for me. A single stack 9mm was kind of what I was looking at. Something ultra concealable because I wear business clothes normally. I wear a dress shirt and slacks. I tuck my shirt in, and anywhere have I found advice on how to conceal carry in that situation. But I will cover that at some point here soon. Look for the other videos and you'll see that. But without further ado, I'm going to talk about the Walther CCP M2 and the pros and cons of it. Like I said, my son and I went to Cabela's, looked at them. We held a bunch of different guns, and we decided on that. So let me go ahead and dive right in. So here's the case that the Walther came in, and you can see my son got it for me for Christmas. He's only 19, so he got it through his mom, and he spent his hard-earned money on it, which was really freaking cool. So to Papa Bear from your favorite son. That's Brooks, my son. He's awesome, and this was his gift to me. So when you first open this case up, you don't have a whole lot, but every gun manufacturer has their own lock that they give you usually, and some things like that. There's a little tool for adjusting the sight, and we're gonna go over that sight today because it's got a lot of limitations. It comes with a couple of things. It comes with the lock, comes with the safety thing and a little manual. They're very helpful. The manual is helpful. This came in the gun to protect the chamber, I guess. And then there's two Allen wrenches and 2 additional front sight posts that raise or lower the height of the front sight. One of these Allen keys goes to the rear sight to adjust it right to left. And so we'll look at that in just a second because we are going to look at the sights. And let me go over here to my new UTG range bag. It's super awesome. And pull it on out. Now, I just came from the range, so I do need to clean it. Well, we're gonna take this thing apart, talk about it, and then we're gonna review what I think is the best set of sights on the market for any handgun, or really any gun that they fit on, and we'll talk more about those. So, this is the Walther CCP M2. Now, the Walther CCP, like I said, it's a single stack 9. It's really small, and you'll see the specs here on the screen. But what I like most about it is that it fits. I have a big hand, and it fits like a glove. My hand, when somebody shakes my hand, usually they say it's like shaking a ribeye steak. So I've got a big hand, and so when I go to grip this gun, it fits just perfect. In a big hand, it swallows it up, but it fits just perfect. Any smaller or any shorter and it wouldn't work right. And what I love about this gun initially is the ergonomics of the grip. Now the CCP M2 as well as the PPQ both have this ergonomic grip. And there's a lot of differences, but mainly size is the biggest difference. So I wanted this to be ultra concealable. And I'll show you my deep concealment and then also a holster that I made. My dad taught me leatherworking when I was a boy. And so I've made and remade this holster over and over and over about 3 or 4 times. Like I said, the version 1 required a tool and this one doesn't. So with the Walther, you can tell whether or not it's cocked by this. You'll see a red indicator here. So let's go ahead and check the chamber, make sure everything's safe. Pop this out. Okay. Another thing, the slide is really easy to work. So for someone who doesn't have a lot of strength, it's a whole lot simpler to use, a whole lot easier to use. And I don't find that it hinders it in any way. It's just as robust of a firearm as anything should be. I will say it's much more robust than, say, the Ruger LCP and those kinds of smaller, tiny guns. And then there's one that I bought for my daughter. It's the SIG P238. It's a 380, super cool gun, but tiny. Not near as tiny as the Ruger is, but anyway. So here we go. We've cleared the chamber. We've taken the magazine out. So now, how do we clean it? We'll go ahead and release that, and you'll notice the red indicator there. All right. So then you go ahead and you push in right here, just with the tip of your thumb. You push in about, I don't know, a millimeter, and then there's this switch right here. Pop it over and let go of with your thumb, and you'll notice it comes out. See, it releases a little bit. Okay, and then you want to be careful because sometimes this spring and this red thing it's loaded, not loaded like with a bullet, but spring loaded. And I have seen where this little red thing is not firmly seated in the spring good, and it'll fly across the room, and you won't be able to use the gun until you get a new one. So be careful with that. But you just pull this out like that, and then you can go back just a little bit with the slide and up, and then it releases the tension, and you're good. So now you just get it over the hump here, and there you go. So it's in this piece, spring, and then the slide. Now this piece here, the spring with the little red dealie on it, it's got a place right here. I don't know if you can see it right there, that keeps it from coming all the way out. And if you really want to clean this gun, you just, again, put the tip of your thumb in there and let it come past it, and it comes right out, no problem. Do not try to take this spring out of here. It's not designed to come out. And don't pull this red thing out either. You'll be hating life if you do that. So now let's go ahead and clean it real quick, and I'll show you my cleaning method. It's real easy. And then stay tuned. We'll get to the best sights in the world that I think shortly. So you'll notice I'm at the dining room table, and I am happily married. And if you want to stay happily married and you're going to clean your guns at the dining room table on a pretty white runner and everything, you're going to need something to put down. So I bought, I kind of revamped my cleaning method. In the past, I was using this kit here And let me open it up real quick and just show you. It's the typical kit that you'll always see, that everybody seems to have. And here you go. See, it's this full kit with all the rods and the brass brushes and all the stuff, right? Little patches, everything. I was raised cleaning guns this way, and there's nothing wrong with it. You can clean a gun like this forever, and it's not a problem. But let me show you the new method that I've adopted, just because I wanted it to be simpler and easier. First of all, I got Dry Mate gun cleaning mat or pad. Take a look and see where you can get those. I got mine. I got a lot of stuff mine on Amazon. This one is 16 by 59, so it's large. I got it because I've also got long guns I want to clean and things like that, and I don't want a bunch of different pads sitting around. So I'm gonna take this out of the package, get things set up. Be right back. Okay, so here's my new cleaning method. I get this Hops number 9 foaming bore cleaner. It's awesome, but be really careful. I'll show you this in a minute, but don't push the trigger down on this can very hard, because it'll spray across the room, get all over your walls and everything else. I know that by experience, so please heed my warning. This is mil-spec CLP. It's an all-in-one good lubricant, preservative, and cleaner. I also got these double-sided Q-tips. They're long, and one side is, you can probably see, is pointed, and the other side isn't, right? So it helps get into little places, and these were made in China. I'm not sure. I got a whole ton of them here for not much money. Big pack full of them. It'll last me probably forever. And I got this mat, like I was saying, this pad. It is it's very long. And this one goes all the way across the table, and it's still got some left to go. So I could easily clean my rifles, my shotgun, and everything else, and not worry about things getting on the table. I have this paper. I've had it for a long time, and I think it came in a package as wadding, and I flattened it out, and I just use it to put down. And it's also a good idea to have yourself one of these red shop rags. You're not going to get a lot of fuzz off of it like you would with terry cloth. So these are very good. I like these a whole lot. You can get a whole pack of them at AutoZone or O'Reilly or somewhere, really cheap. Good stuff. So, all right. So let's go ahead and clean this gun. So again, on the Walther, there's not very many parts, but the barrel's fixed. The barrel is fixed onto the gun here. And so the way I do this is I put the shop rag right here on the end of the barrel to keep it from shooting across the room when I use this foaming bore cleaner. Okay, I shake it until it stops shaking, so like it's kind of activated. And then I barely touch this. There we are. I don't know if you saw that. I barely touched the trigger. It's kind of like a competition hair trigger. Crazy. All right. I'm gonna raise that up until it kind of calms down there. And then I take this, okay, Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lay out my shop rag like this. Okay. Now I'm gonna take my slide. And again, be real careful. Don't push all the way down, because it streams out. It doesn't spray out. So go ahead and get that going. Get a little bit of stream on this. You can use your hand as a backer. The spring, same thing. You can just kind of spray like that. That's backer. Don't worry about getting it all over your hands. If you worry about getting stuff on your hands, you're not going to be able to clean your gun. All right. So get all up in there. Kind of like when you're feeding your dogs. Just get your hands all up in there and let them smell your hands. All right. So I digress. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna spray this also just a little bit. Being real careful not to get it anywhere near the dining room table. Okay. So now that we're all oily, we got stuff everywhere. All right, good stuff. I happen to have another rag for my hands. So now, let's use these Q-tips a little bit, see what happens. Good stuff. Let's take the slide, and we're just gonna get down in the crevices of the slide here, just to make sure we get all that good stuff out of there. All that carbon, all the buildup, gunpowder, lead, whatever. Just get all around there, okay? And you can tell you're doing a good job if it's turning black, right? Turn it around, keep on going. I know people who don't clean their guns at all, ever. They're asking for a lot of trouble. Asking for it. I clean my guns a lot. In fact, if I haven't used my gun in a while, I'll clean it anyway. Because the older guns, the blued steel guns, they'll actually start kind of rusting over time if you don't keep them oiled and clean. So you got to be careful. These new polymer ones, not so much. All right, well, that's good. Q-tip. Now, check this out. This is a new acquisition. This replaces the old rod and patches and all that stuff, and the brass brushes too. It's called a bore snake. They're really cool. They have a weighted end on a string, and then it's got this webbing, and then in between the webbing, right here, it's got brass wire stuff. So the thing is that this pulls it through. You pull the brass thing through, and then it's got all this webbing to clean it, to clean the barrel. So the way you use it is you put it down through the barrel like that, and you just start pulling. Okay, so you feed that in, and then here comes the brass stuff. And the first few times, or I don't know, maybe 10 times, you got to pull really hard, and there you go. And I like to do it twice. Now, let's get something white so you can see this. It's fairly white. See if you can see in the barrel. You see in there? It looks really clean and oily. So we are gonna, we'll run that through again after we get some of this oil cleaned up. So we're just gonna start rubbing the frame here now that we've done the barrel and we've done the Q-tip and the ramp and the entrance to the barrel. You want to make sure that all that's clean, right? This isn't just a cleaning tutorial. We're talking about the gun too. So the gun, I really love it. I am not as accurate with it as I am with my Springfield XDM 45 because this gun is light and it takes a different technique to really be accurate with it. So I've been practicing. I did pretty good. I'll show you this target here in a minute, but the only thing I don't like about this gun, other than the fact that it's light and it takes a little more practice to get accurate with it, the only thing I don't like about the Walther CCP M2 is the lack of accessories. It just doesn't have very much out there. Everywhere I looked, even, it's crazy, even holster manufacturers, they don't have very much out there. So the holsters, I would find the holster I really liked, like the Shapeshifter or whatever. I was looking at Alien, Klinger, and all these different holster manufacturers, DeSantis, and they just don't have a lot for this gun. And some of the ones I really liked for concealment, they didn't have anything for the, like inside the waistband modular type stuff. They've got it for everything else, but not the Walther CCP. A lot of them have the holster for the Walther PPQ, but not the CCP. So we're almost done here. Give me just a moment. Let's finish this up. We'll put it all back together and then I'll show you the sights. All right, so let's clean up the mag. The gun comes with 2 magazines, which is cool. All right, now the slide, let's get that done. It's pretty cool. It's got this blowback deal. It's a dream to shoot. It's really simple to shoot, really easy. It's not harsh. This would be a perfect gun for a younger person or somebody without a lot of strength. But the control that you have with it's just amazing. It's really cool. All right. Let's go ahead. All right, let's go ahead and put it back together. I'll talk to you about the sights. All right, so first thing you do is you go ahead and put this back in the slide. And it's really easy to do. You find the rear of the slide here, turn it upside down, and then you'll see this slot. The slot goes up, it slides down, and see it won't go any farther than that deal there. You gotta push it with your thumb, and it slides right in, okay? So you go ahead and leave it dangling out like this, not a problem. You get your spring, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. Put the spring on there, and this doesn't go in there like that. It goes down below it. So you go ahead and put the spring above that blowback dealie, like that. And then you're gonna push back on the slide, and that blowback thing is gonna have to go into a channel. So it's a little tricky. You kind of have to play with it a little. But there you go. And then the slide goes back. And then you push this down there so that it's just like this, okay? And then you just pop this in. And you'll hear a click. At that point, rack it, work it a little bit, and you're good. You're good to go. Just get the excess oil off. And I bought, speaking of holsters real quick, I bought a couple of holsters, but for my range bag, I bought this Klinger holster. So the Klinger holster here is really simple. You just put the gun in, and it's got this, you don't want to get oil on it, but it just sort of, friction keeps it in your waistband, inside your waistband. And it's pretty cool. There's a magazine holder that came with it too. So it holds the other mag. And you could put that inside your waistband and it just sort of holds it there. You want to be careful because obviously it's not going to stay there all day without you being conscientious about it, and you can't really wrestle with it in your pants. But if you're just taking it, let's say you're taking it from your car to your home, or you're taking it from your car to your work or whatever, it's real easy. And you can even carry it, concealed carry, if you're not going to be real active doing a bunch of sports or something. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the sights. Take a look at the Walther sights. Okay, hang on, let me move all this stuff out the way. We're not cleaning anymore. Okay. All right. Now, take a look at the Walther sights. Now, my problem is twofold, okay? First of all, they're really dim. They're hard to see. They don't jump out at you. Target acquisition is squirrely, which might be a lot of the reason why I wasn't that accurate, because it's kind of like trying to line up 3 UFOs. You try lining up 3 UFOs up in the sky, and then move those 3 UFOs over and try to acquire a target. It's done every day. People do it, but I don't like it. I hate it, in fact. It's really a pet peeve of mine. Sights are a big pet peeve of mine. So I went out and I looked for something to do. First, I was gonna get some nail polish and a toothpick, and I was gonna brighten those up, which would have worked. I did it on my Springfield XDM, and it worked okay, but it's still, I got 2 rear white sights and a bright orange front sight. And it's easier than this, of course, but it's still trying to do geometry while you're like, your adrenaline's rushing, and if you're trying to engage an attacker, you don't have time to do a geometry project. So anyway, I really can't stand them. So I did some research, and I reached out to a company here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I told them I was going to do a video on the Walther because there's not a lot for it out there, not a lot of accessories. And we'll talk more about Walther accessories for this gun in other videos. But this company was so cool. I talked to a guy who volunteered with the company to just to be around him because he liked it. He liked the people, he liked the product. And this guy finally, I guess, got a paid position, but he was a volunteer for a long time. And I can see why. They were super cool, super nice to me. And I'm gonna show you, I just got it in the mail. I'm super excited about it. And I want to show you these sights. So the company is called XS Sights. And they sent me these sights, and I'm really excited to see them. I'm not gonna ruin the surprise about what they look like just yet. So let's go ahead and open this up. I love my knife, by the way. This is a Columbia River Crawford Casper. They don't make them anymore, but Crawford and Casper got together and made this design. It's super cool, nice. It's balanced. It's a combat folder. I even got my dad one. He loved it too. So let's open this package up. XS Sight Systems, Fort Worth, Texas. Awesome, awesome. Let's take a look. All right, so this is it. So this is the DXT night sights, big dot for the Walther CCP PPS M2 9 and 40. So it works on all those. They're at xssights.com. The instructions are there on the website. So I'll be pulling up screenshots of some of those as I put these on. And then you can always email them. It's tech, T-E-C-H, at xssights.com. Anyway, I'm really excited to see these. And so the front, I don't know if you can see that. The front is a white, and the rear is also white. But the cool part about this is, if you'll notice, it's just a line. So you line the dot up with the line and you're done. Your target acquisition time is cut. And I haven't done a study on it yet, but I would imagine that your target acquisition time would be cut in half. Unless you shoot all the time and you practice all the time and you're fine with normal sights. But just pulling this thing out, having adrenaline rushing and acquiring your target and shooting, I think this is gonna be exactly what I wanted. I'm not sure what that is. That's either Loctite or it could be some kind of glow stuff. But here's a picture of it, the DXT night sights. And there's a picture of the sight alignment. See how fast that looks? It's a line and a dot. It's like putting the ball on a stick. You're done. No 3-dot lineup, UFOs with F-16s chasing them, none of that kind of stuff going on when you're trying to aim your firearm. This is so cool. White dot reflects light, the best visibility in low light. Okay. Convex dot maximizes visibility surface area. Okay, so it's not like the Walther sights. If you look, they're really dim. Well, they're also sunken, and they're sunken in there, and That's one of the reasons why they're dim, is because they're not protruding at all. They're not even flush. So they're dark, they're shadowed. And this thing protrudes a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and install these things. I'm really excited to do it. It says extended range and close range. So it's got two different ways of going about it. The entire dot must be visible and centered over the shallow V. Awesome. Okay, well, we'll come right back with the instructions and the installation. Okay, so with the excess sights, the package is really easy to open. There's just 2 staples. We're gonna go ahead and open this up and then get started on the installation. And there's a warranty. What does this say? Protected by a no questions warranty. Excess sights will replace the product if the sights become damaged in any way. The tritium stops glowing prior to 10 years. Wow, 10 years. Sights can be replaced at a discounted price after 10 years. Get a free excess patch by writing an online review. Post a review on any e-commerce website, forum, or social media. Email us the link to marketing@excesssights.com with your contact and mailing information, and you get a free patch. I wonder if that's embroidered. That'd be super cool to sew on my UTG bag there. Excess Sights seems like a pretty cool company. So bright light. So when it's bright outside, this is what it looks like. Low light, it starts to glow here. You don't see the white, but you see the green. Barely any light. You see a brighter green. So the sight acquisition is still there. And I guess to figure out, because it said to make sure that the entire dot is above the line. I guess you just make sure there's a little gap right there. But we're gonna play with that. We're gonna make sure we understand all of it. So let's go on over. The instructions are on video, which is really cool because you can go to YouTube and when you go here to excesssights.com, it lists resources at the top on the menu. So you'll click on resources and then it'll have all these instruction videos on installation, and they're on YouTube. So they're for a variety of guns. The Walther CCP is gonna be probably consistent with the Walther PPQ, but we'll go ahead and take a look. Okay, so according to the instruction video, this should be fairly simple. We have the front sight here. That's the big white dot. And then we have this, the front sight appears to be plastic, just like the original one. The rear sight appears to be metal. And there's that line, so it'll look like this. And then that's dovetailed. All right. So the instruction video is just a little different for the CCP, the Walther CCP, because the screw is not going to go in the side like the video showed for the Walther. They didn't have an exact Walther CCP video, which I guess it's good that I'm doing it, right? What else do we have in here? We've got, looks like an Allen key here. I would assume it's for this. We'll see. We will see. All right, and then this is Loctite. That's for the front sight, I believe. According to the video, you get a Q-tip, and here's my Q-tip. So you get a Q-tip and some alcohol here, and you'll clean the front receiving part of the where the sight goes. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this ready. So the first thing, you push this in. Like that. There we go. And then you go back just a little bit, push up, pull that all out, get this out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and take this out just because I don't want it bouncing around. And there we have it. There's the slide. I did a little too much lubrication there, so certain things in life, too much lubrication is too much, right? Certain things, it doesn't matter. I guess this is one of those things that maybe it should be a little more sparing than I did, but nonetheless, it works. Also, I think if you have too much lubrication on it and you don't wipe it off, it can gum up the action a little bit. All right, so here we go. Now, this is a little different than most of those videos also because you have this, this piston attached here. This is for the blowback. And when I was cleaning the gun, I did not show you that hole where the where that piston goes. That hole, let me see if I can get you a better view of it. Right there, right there. See the hole? You're gonna want to clean that out. So the cleaning kit that I got, or the cleaning kit that I had, the old one, with the rod and the patches, is really still beneficial when you're cleaning the Walther CCP, mostly because of that hole down there. And you can't put a snake through it. It's gonna have to be a rod and a patch, right? So it's still a good idea to keep the rod and patch idea. The bore snake is awesome. The bore cleaner is awesome. The hops, number 9 stuff is really good. So anyway, back to this. All right, so this piston, they recommend that you hammer out the pin and take this off in order to replace the front sight. Well, I never have. I've replaced this a number of times trying to get the sights right and trying to make it more true to my vision when I'm shooting. And so the gun comes with 2 additional front sight posts, a replacement roll pin for something, not sure what exactly. Probably the size of it looks like maybe it's for the body. But then there's an Allen key and Torx key in here. So here's the Allen key. We don't need that yet, but I'm gonna put it over there. And then here's the Torx key that comes with the gun, right? So you can see you've got this little Torx head on here. Well, so what I do, and what I'm going to attempt to do here for you, is that I'm going to attempt to do this around the side of the piston, just like this. Now it's in there, it's fitting in there, and it's firmly in the grooves of the screw. So I'm not going to strip it out. And I think if I just turn nice and slow, and I don't get in a hurry, it'll come right out. And there we have it. Came right out. There's the little screw. Put that over there. Here's the sight post. Let's take a look at that. Maybe we'll use this hex key to push the Torx key to push it out. Let me see if that'll work. Yep, that helps push it out too. So there we have it. There's the front sight gone. There it is. Nothing but a hole. So now is when you clean it really good, and we're going to use this alcohol. I really like these long Q-tips, they're awesome. So we're going to clean all in here, mainly this top part. You want to clean this top part really good with alcohol, because the Loctite won't work if it's all full of that lubricant that we put on there earlier, right? When we cleaned the gun. So we're just going to clean this really good. Just kind of let it sit on there. Make sure there's no oil. All right. Now, it'll dry pretty good, but you want to make sure that you don't wipe from the other part that you didn't put the alcohol on over to the part that you did. You just want this little area right here free of grease and cleaned with alcohol, right? And do not use the rag, because then you'll put oil back on it, right? I'm gonna stop saying right a bunch. I hate that when people do that. They'll say, you know, or you feel me, or you know me, or you got it, or and I hate those. I forget what they call those, but they're so annoying. Okay, so according to the video, we are gonna reuse we're going to reuse the screw for the rear sight, but we're not going to reuse the screw for the front sight. So that comes with a screw here, but it's not a hex. It's not a Torx. It's flat. So that's fun. That means I need to find a flathead screwdriver here as part of the deal. And I believe that was listed as part of the tools needed that I didn't pay attention to. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. So you take this screw off. Jeez. Here it is. You have a little screwdriver like this. Works pretty good. If you have gun tools, then it doesn't matter, but I don't. So I'm just using stuff my dad gave me through the years and that I've accumulated. So let's take a look at this side again. Okay, there's the screw. Let's get the screw off of there. There we go. All right, put the screw right there. And let's prep this Loctite too. Looks like it's got maybe a hole there. There we go, that pops a hole. There we are. So we'll hang on to that. Okay, so here's where the sight goes, and we're gonna go ahead and put this Loctite, like it shows in the video. They put it all around the hole, and some kind of down in it a little bit, like that, okay? And then we're gonna wipe off the excess after the sight's been screwed down. So white dot towards the rear. Go ahead and put it in there. Okay. Needs to fit down in the hole. So make sure you push it down in there good. Okay, so we've got the little flathead screwdriver, and I was having a problem, and I'm not going to cut this video. I'm going to show you everything I went through to put these sights on. So what you just saw was a little bit of a conundrum for me trying to figure out how to get this sight to go down in the hole because it fits so good. And I'm not entirely sure this is plastic, because I was trying to mess with it a little bit and it was really hard stuff. So it's good materials, and it's lightweight. I'm just not entirely sure this is plastic, but anyway, doesn't matter. So here's what I'm gonna do, okay? We're gonna put the Loctite back where it's supposed to go. It's all prepped and ready, just like the video showed. The video didn't show a problem putting the front sight post on though. So now here's what I did. Okay, so I put it on there. I got it where it's supposed to go, and I was having a problem getting it down in the hole. It didn't want to go, and it still doesn't, right? But I made sure it was exactly where it's supposed to be. You don't want it overlapping or anything. But then I got my little vice grips. I put them right in there. And let's see here. Let me loosen this up a little bit. Okay. Popped it right in there. It is a tight fit. I really doubt if the Loctite is necessary. I'm serious. It's that tight. So these guys are precise at excess sights. All right, so I'm gonna clean around the edges, get the Loctite out of there. And that's where these Q-tips come in with the pointy end. Pretty good stuff there. So let me get all that out. Just bear with me while I clean up a little. And you can get the rest of it off. You can get it off later, but it's always better to get this stuff off soon. You don't want it drying and getting all sticky and hard. Okay, there we go. Now, turn it over. Now we got to figure out how to get this little screw in there. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to lay it in there and try to lay it in the groove, and then use the screwdriver to move it over there into the hole. There we go. That worked. And then I'm going to slide in just like I did with the Torx, and I'm going to go backwards with it and then a little forwards, just to try to make sure that it seats into the threads and it's not cross-threaded. So you don't want to cross-thread anything. See if you can see this. So I've got it, and I'm just going to do it finger tight. I'm going to give it a little oomph, and the Loctite should help secure that. So that's the front sight done. Not too bad for my first time. And I didn't have to pay a gunsmith. The excess sights instructions are pretty helpful. All right. Now, let's deal with the rear. So, in the instructions for Walther, it talks about a little plunger and it just slides over and all that. I don't see that happening at all. So, I'm going to use this Allen key that came with the gun. And I'm just going to I'm going to stick it in there, and I'm just going to start to turn it, see what happens. I heard somebody said it's clockwise. It's opposite from what we think of. So it says that they're threaded backwards. And if that's the case, then turning this clockwise should get this right on out of there. Okay. Bear with me. Okay, so once it stops moving it, then you just use your fingers and pull on it, and it pulls that dovetail sight right out of there. Awesome, huh? Okay, so clean this up a little bit with a rag. I guess I could use the Q-tip. Clean that up a little. Now, if you'll notice, right down in there in the middle, the way that this sight adjusts, not that one, the way this sight adjusts is that the screw threads dig into the slide and it moves this sight back and forth, right? So when you put this one in, when you put this one in, I think this key is gonna, yeah, this key has an Allen screw. It's a set screw in the bottom here. And so this key is gonna push that set screw right down into these threads. And it's probably gonna goober up the threads. So once you do this, you can't go back to factory sites. And why would you? These sites are awesome. So anyway, looks pretty simple. So you slide it right in there, slides in good. And now when you adjust this at the range, you're just gonna use this Allen key, you're gonna loosen that up, and then you're gonna physically move it one way or the other, just a little bit, to sight your gun in. But in the meantime, we're gonna look at it. We're gonna try to get it right in the middle, and then we're gonna put this down in here, and we're gonna turn that set screw and lock this down. Not too hard. You don't want to bend this Allen key, but it'll just go pop pop like that, and then you know that it's set. That's really, I think we're done. Check this out. Talk about site acquisition. Wham! That's fast. I can't wait to go to the range with this. So we're gonna cut here, and then I'm gonna do a follow-up video with these sights at the range. Anyway, now you have your sights installed. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment below and reach out to the guys at XS Sights. Let them know that you saw this video, and tell them what kind of gun you've got, and they'll fix you all up. Okay? All right, till next time.